podcast dedicated to all things Heroes Prime and Heroes Reborn related things. I am Lilith, and of course, joining me as always is...
It's me, Ricky, yo.
And today we have a special treat for you, joining in on the endless barrage of thoughts about the season of Heroes Reborn, Mr. Nate Milton.
What is going on, Ricky and Lilith? This is an honor. Last time I was on, you weren't in the building, so I feel like this is a special occasion. I feel like
I can rectify that.
I feel like I'm meant to do something extraordinary this week.
Brother Nate, come on. What? Just speaking with me alone, that wasn't good enough. Okay, I see how it is.
That was cool. That was like it's cool to talk to Ando, but if you get Ando and he, that's what it's all about, Rick.
I wouldn't be Ando. I like the Crimson Lightning. Faster time and space is way too stressful for me.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back and give another a post-mortem on this mini series. It was an experience. It was a ride.
It's better than speaking to two versions of me being in the past and present at the same time. So yeah, let's go with that. So we already have your thoughts on the first block of, I say block, the first 3/4 of the season. So let's just get straight into it. What were your thoughts on just a general overview, or like any specific things you want to bring up about the last 3 episodes?
Well, I guess we'll go in a chronological order, even though we all know now that time is not a line.
Exactly.
It's a circle.
It's a circle, yeah.
But I'd say the first episode when we got back from the winter break, it was good, but it didn't feel... It felt kind of like, man, that break to me took a lot of steam out of the show. The company woman episode, like I know last time you and I talked, Ricky, like that was the episode I was probably looking the most forward to, both because of the title and because we had very little information on who Erica was as a character. And so I thought, yeah, we got some answers, but it didn't really hit the way I think it should have hit. But all that was kind of made up for in the finale, in my opinion.
No.
I think the finale was a good way to end things. I did have some quibbles with it, but I think I've watched it 3 times now since the first airing on Thursday night, and it's like, okay, I really, really like this finale. I think it might be the most satisfying finale episode of Heroes, maybe since season 1 or maybe ever, just because I think like it answered a lot of questions. Yeah, we got some new questions at the end, but I thought all things considered, it was a pretty solid episode.
Nate's been busy preparing for this episode. He's watched the finale 3 times, whereas I have only watched it twice. So maybe you should be taking over now.
My name is Nathan. I can stop someone who can stop time, Ricky.
Let's talk about the bits and pieces of the final 3 episodes. So, what was your kind of quibbles with Company Woman, I guess?
I think that, yeah, we got some answers, but I think that it happened too late. I think, especially since we knew what was going to happen, or Kring and the creators knew what was going to happen to Erica in the next episode. Like, it was almost a whiplash effect, because, yeah, you're building up all this sympathy, and, the creepy doctor guy with the rape storyline. It's like, yeah, that should bring sympathy to this character, but it felt really late in the game, and it's like, I would have liked more of her time with the company. We got to see young man Casper show up at the door, but I would like to have seen her time at the company a little bit. I would like to have seen her interact with Noah. I think that there was a lot of questions that needed to be answered, and so I think they gave us a starter kit to understand who Erica Kravitz was, but it just came too late in the game.
I'm still a bit iffy about the subject matter. I think if that was a bit too late in the game to be bringing up that, especially as you kind of haven't really said anything about, or hinted towards anything about it. All you know is that she hates Evos, or she seems to hate Evos. She wants to eradicate them, but still, after the episode was done, I was like, did she do it because of the subject matter, or did she do it because of her feelings towards her daughter? And she's been not lying, but she's always been that kind of cagey character. I still don't even know. So
Well, and the thing is, like, does she really hate Evos? I know she dislikes them, and she hates that one Evo in particular. But like, if I'm somebody that like, let's just say, for instance, throwing this up, out there for an example. Let's say I hated white people, which I don't. I love me some white people. But let's just say I hated white people and I wanted to eliminate white people. Why would I then have a company where almost everybody that works for me is white? And I know that, Erica could use the excuse that she's using these people. But if you really hated these Evos, if you were really about that Evo hating life, I don't think that, Harris would be there. Ultimo would be there. So many other Evos, Phoebe, that she used to get to her end goal was there. So I think, yeah, she probably disliked Evos a real lot, a whole lot, if you will. But at the end of the day, to me, it was about power. It was about, being evil for evil's sake. Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts? I was about to say Erica. Lilith, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we've already had this conversation of how I feel about it, and especially the whole subject matter of the rape. It's like, okay, can we find some other like plot driving thing for a female character? It's so cliche, and at this point, it's really derivative. And just stop, please, for the love of God, please stop with that plot line for anybody actually on TV. It's so many other ways we could go. The doctor could have extorted her for money or anything else. Do you know what I mean? And it was way too late in the game. Like I said, I think it would have been better after it was revealed Taylor was pregnant with an Evo's baby.
Yeah. But there is one thing we can say about that kind of past storyline is she didn't have any daddy issues, which is a big thing for people in Heroes. It's always about the parental issues, but her dad seemed like the best guy around.
I think I would have liked it better if the doctor, instead of, sexually assaulting her, if he had killed her dad.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you don't have the money to pay me, so I'm going to let your daddy die. That would have been a much better motivating factor for me than the rape angle.
Okay, so...
Oh, let's talk about Joanne.
Okay.
Since I actually found somebody who wants to talk about Joanne.
Oh, Joanne. Joe. You should have stayed in that Cadillac, Joe.
Imagine if that was just like carrying on. There were just like little webisodes of Joanne just going round, like carrying on killing people. Then the end of the world, like the world survives and she's still going around killing people in a Cadillac. I'm still surprised that Cadillac were like, yeah, we'll have this storyline about this killer and she loves our cars. So, but yeah.
Blood comes off the interior. So nice.
Yeah. Thoughts on Joanne, Nate?
Oh man, obviously, I love the actress, but the character of Joanne was ultimately a waste. And like, I think that if the last we saw of Joanne was when she walked away from Luke, or even the showdown at the malt shop.
Yeah.
Because I thought the showdown at the malt shop worked pretty well as compared to the quote unquote big showdown we got at Union Wells.
Yeah, I think also like she was ready for it then. Like you could tell when she was about to get hit by the kind of firebolt from Zach Levi's character, you could see her face and she was like just embracing, ready for death at that point. And there's also the fact that Tommy had that chance, like Casper had that chance to get through to her, and then friggin' Tommy came in and just ruined everything. But yeah.
I thought that she did well with what she was given on the page, but I don't know like how much meat there was on that bone. Like I think again, one of my issues with this miniseries, even though I really enjoyed it, was that for so many other villains, they were one-note characters. And, we talked about Erica, and I think Joanne was the same way. Like I enjoyed the episode where we got the flashback to why she was this way. And at least that came early on in the series, unlike Erica's flashback. But at the same time, I feel like she was an afterthought, and I feel like we didn't need to go back to her after what happened at the malt shop. Like if she had just ran away and escaped the police and that was the end of it. Okay, fine, good. You can do your little commercials to sell cars and that'll be her story. But bringing her back into Company Woman, I thought that we had a whole lot of stories and not a lot of time, and we didn't need to spend 5 minutes with Joanne.
I think I said this on previous podcasts, but it felt like they had the break and they were like, look, people just aren't responding to Joanne as much as we thought they would. So why don't we just have her in like the smallest amount of time and then kind of kill her really quickly and really anticlimactically? Yeah.
Like Luke didn't even care. Luke was like, hey, bye, Felicia.
I think I'm still under the impression that it was kind of like a reflex thing on his part. And I think he did play it off quite well in like the thing about Judith and Zach was they were very much acting through like their bodies and their facial expressions. Not a lot with the lines. Like when she killed Mick, the ice pick guy or whatever, that scene was like tremendous. Like the amount of like range she went in like the span of like 5 to 10 seconds. And I don't know, like it was really anticlimactic, and that's all I got. I ran out of steam there, much like the first half of the season until.
You know what doesn't run out of steam, Ricky? The all-new Cadillac.
Because it runs on steam. No, I'm joking. Okay, so let's talk about the finale. How do we feel about Evernow coming back and its kind of ultimate payoff, I guess?
Ex Machina.
Yeah, I have conflicted feelings about Evernow because I wasn't one of the people that hated on it when in the early episodes. I thought it was an interesting thing to go to, even if it didn't quite hit all the way. But to go back to the same well, I wasn't really feeling it. But at the same time, I do think that we got some cool scenes, including the ones with Tommy when he was trapped in the machine, and then of course Ren gets his moment to shine.
Yeah, and
so it's like, while I don't really like that they brought back this plot point, I really enjoyed Ren's scenes. From the moment that they wake up the real Miko, and then Ultimo comes in and it's like a reckless Ren. That was a terrible Ultimo impression, but like that was like, finally this guy gets his big moment. So I hate that they had to bring back Evernow, but I did enjoy Ren getting his moment to shine.
Okay, and I guess we'll go on to Luke's kind of ultimate sacrifice. How did you feel about the speed at which he was taken out, much like his wife?
This whole episode was about sacrifice.
Yeah,
like everybody was making sacrifices, and for Luke, it was the inevitable conclusion to his journey, but it did feel a bit rushed, and I understand that because one of the issues I had with the finale was the pacing. I thought that between Company Woman and between Project Reborn, there were some pacing issues that I thought could have been worked out a little bit better. And I think that Zach's performance in that scene, like you mentioned, doing a lot of physical stuff, looking down at the locket and holding back the tears, and I'm ready to accept my fate for what I've done.
My Human Torch level powers.
Yes. Yeah, I thought all of that was good, but it felt very rushed. It felt like we should have had more time with him and with Malina. Even though I didn't really like that pairing, I thought that if you're gonna kill this dude, they should at least have a little bit more interaction before they die. And that's the problem that I had with the final sacrifice later on in the show. It's like, I know we need to get to the fireworks factory, to use a Simpsons reference, but I need a little bit more feels right now. And even though I thought that Zach did a good job in that scene, I think we could have had a little bit more feels.
Yeah, definitely. Lilith, if you want to go through your Malina stuff in terms, because I
am so upset about Malina, right? Like it was all about Tommy / Nathan, and it really pissed me off because literally all we know about Malina is she's Claire's daughter, she's bold, brave, and ethereal. Like literally, I think in the whole course of the series, she's gotten maybe 15 lines. Like that's not even exaggeration.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I don't know what
misogyny.
Oh, I think that Malina had potential.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, we spent a lot of time with Malina, much like Erica. We spent a lot of time with Erica, but do we really know this person? Do we really know their motivations? Do we know more than just kind of a character run sheet of who this person is? And I thought that, she did good with what she was given, but at the end of the day, Lilith is right. This was all about Tommy / Nathan. This was his show. He was Peter Petrelli in this new incarnation of Heroes. And I don't know. I think that she got some good lines in. Like, I love when Nathan shows up and she's like, "Took you long enough." Yeah. Like, okay, I'm glad they at least gave her a couple zingers. She got to emote when Granddad passed.
Oh, definitely.
And that was a good scene, because in that scene, Tommy was the one looking like Tommy, that's your granddad, man. And he's just sitting there like, what am I supposed to do? Men don't hug. Like, Tommy, you better hug your dead granddaddy.
But if you think about it, like, Malina spent a bit more, a bit more time, like to kind of get to know him. Like she had that kind of car journey and stuff like that. Whereas whenever Tommy and HRG like met, it was pretty much just like, we've got something to do. You don't really have time to kind of like, oh, how's it being a granddad to like a 16-year-old who you met like yesterday, kind of, those kind of weird conversations that you have with your grandparents. But yeah.
And so, yeah, I think Malina has potential, and who knows if they get to tell more stories that like was hinted about it in the end of the finale. I think Malina will get a little bit more meat to chew on. But for this, she was the sidekick. She was Ando with more lines. She was Ando with more to do, should I say? But yeah, at the end of the day, this was all about your boy Nathan.
Okay, so me and Lilith are big fans of the Frady Cats. How did you feel about Quentin and Phoebe's kind of Quentin sacrifice? Let's go with.
Man, like I saw that scene and it was like, man, it was, and I think you tweeted about it, Ricky. I don't know if it was you or somebody else on Twitter that was like, the butterfly effect rears its head again. Because before they went back in time, Phoebe killed Quentin.
Yeah.
And now, it's the other way around. Death was inevitable. And I'm just looking at Phoebe like, come on, girl. Like, I'm going to need you to wake up. I'm going to need you to snap out of this. Because, like, you got that scene when Erica, and this might have been one of my favorite scenes of the show, when they activate the time machine at the beginning. And, Erica's giving her a little speech and welcome to a brave new world, and everybody's gone. And Phoebe just is like, hold on. Why am I still here? Like, that should have been, like, her time to start having that crisis of faith, that crisis of conscience. And it's like, maybe my brother is saying some truth, but instead, Erica's coming back. Like, come on, girl, she ain't coming back. She already in the future. She's not coming back to pick you up.
Definitely.
With your guy self. But that being said, it was a great scene, but a terrible scene from the emotional standpoint, because I think those two, going all the way back to Dark Matters, those two had a really great on-screen connection, and I think that, man, it was a sad end for the Frady Cats, but again, another great scene by those two.
I started thinking about this, and I think like Phoebe was just, as much as I wanted her to be redeemed, and I think me and Lilith have talked about this, we wanted like the Frady Cats to. Sorry, my voice isn't going. I'm just need to cough. I'm not crying. So we wanted the Frady Cats to properly be reunited. We wanted, much like Quentin, we wanted pre-college Phoebe back. We wanted the really nice, sweet, innocent Phoebe, but it's a case of
making shadow puppets.
Exactly.
Putting on a shadow puppet play.
It became like twofold with her. It became she's that kind of story of someone who kind of gets corrupted by their power, but also at the same time, I think after having her part in June 13th, she was just too far gone. Like, she was never really going to come back, because even though she's been consumed by her power, and even though Erica's kind of left her, she knows that she can't really be redeemed, because much like Luke, she had committed so much like murder in someone else's name. That's me trying to get a bit deep there. So yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Ricky strikes again.
Yeah. Did we ever get a proper reunion during the course of the show? Because every time I think they met up, it was either one was on the other side of the other, or there was some extenuating circumstance. So we never got that.
We did
family moment.
We didn't get the family moment, but we got like a lot of sarky, bitchy Phoebe to Quentin, which I really enjoyed. Like,
and when she was in the car, was it Company Woman or the episode before? She's like, "Oh, we're gonna kill this bitch." I'm like, "Whoa, yeah. Calm down."
She was just tweaking for that fight. She was tweaking, but yeah. So we might as well get to the big finale. HRG, can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? Were you expecting it? When did you realize it was happening, and how did you feel?
Oh, see now this is where I might start quote unquote coughing like Ricky was, because I was like, I didn't expect this at all. Because if you remember the last time we talked, Rick, we were saying it was right after they did that teaser promo.
Yeah,
we're like, one of your favorite heroes might die.
Yeah.
And we're like, ain't
no lie though.
Right, they told the truth, but I was like, ain't no way they're gonna kill HRG in the miniseries. They may kill him in a future installment, but not in the miniseries. And lo and behold, they did it. And so like when I on the various watchings of the finale, this was a key point that I wanted to look at each time, because the first thing I thought of when it started to dawn on me that, oh man, HRG is going to be that guy. I'm like, wait a minute, come on, man. Why? Like, there's other people he could have picked to fill that spot, was my initial thought. Erica probably being the prime suspect. But then when you go back and look, and, you know, first of all, shout out to Jack Coleman, who always brings his A game. But just kind of the, you know, when he asked Nathan, was I going to die? And Nathan's like, yes, you were. And he's like, okay, then I know what I got to do. Yeah, I'm the man with the plan, and this is the plan.
This is the thing that I try and tell people when they say, why did it have to be him? And I'm like, well, he was either going to die like a chump with a car falling on top of him, or he was going to go out like a hero saving the world. Which would you have preferred? So, yeah.
And it comes back to his
mate. I don't trust Tommy/Nathan, though. Like,
yeah, he's only just met his granddad, and he knows that, you know, him and his mother didn't have the best of relationships.
But the thing is, if you look at the character, like, it all goes back to his motivation. Like, go back to Company Man. Like, what motivated him to have the Haitian wipe his mind and shoot him?
His daughter.
His love for his daughter. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, he's this badass that we all love, but he's all about his family. And so, you know, even though he just met these kids, there's still, you know, his grandchildren and his link to Claire. And so he's like, you know what? I'll
do. Lyle just dead? Are we just gonna pretend like Lyle's dead though?
Lyle, son, what happened to your family?
His little lady love that we met at the beginning of the series. He's just gonna throw it away for these two little brats. I don't think so.
What happened to her? Like, she's probably hanging out with Brad somewhere. Like all the side. All the side pieces.
That's the next story. It's like Heroes Cougar Town, I guess. She's just like taking Brad on, yeah.
Caitlin shows up back from the future, like, whoa, this is all the forgotten heroes.
Brings the Shanti virus with her, and that's season 2. What's done?
No.
Maybe they bring back Cello Girl.
Maya has to come back.
Yeah.
Oh, Maya! I forgot all about Maya. So many filler characters.
Like, just speaking of filler characters, I know you wanted to talk about this, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about VengaTruther, or Team POC being left at the sidelines.
Oh man, like, it very much like Joanne. I think it was a story that we kind of had to finish because we started telling it. But looking back on it, it's like, did they really need to go through all that trouble for Sunstone Manor? Like, I love the character of Micah. But what did Micah do, man? Like, he brought out the announcement of Erica when she used the shapeshifter. He looped the video for Tommy, and he turned on the lights at the hospital.
But, like, they're minor things, but in the grand scope of it, he had his part to play, and I think
he had a part. But remember when he came out of the chamber, he's like, Erica Kravitz gonna pay for what she's done. I was like, oh, we got badass Micah. And then he's like, hold on, let me push some buttons and chill on the sidelines. Like, I just wish they would have gave him a little bit more to do, and the El Vengador team a little more to do as well. I know they had the thing that our mission is here, to help these people at the hospital, which is an important part of quote unquote saving the world. But at the end of the day, like, I would have liked to have seen more from those guys. And I did like at the end though that we got 3 months later the kind of team Vengador. But again, where was Micah? Like, I'm mad. Like, I know Micah doesn't live in LA, but it's like, come on, man. Like he has nothing to do in this world.
He's back. He went back to the shadows, being Hero-Truther. That's our headcanon anyway.
Yeah, keeping an eye on all the evil.
Exactly.
Like, why do they always take stuff away from Micah? His mom, his dad, his cousin, his grandmama,
and then like his surrogate family, the VengaTruther. Yeah. No, he's got his own little.
He couldn't even be Siler's sidekick.
I know, right? Him
for 2 days.
Well, you've got him and the Haitian chilling out because the Haitian went through so much to get Micah back and never actually met him.
What happened to the Haitian? Like, last we saw the Haitian before the flashback, Parkman sent him walking. So is he still walking somewhere?
He said go. he said go home. So he went home, however long that took, and then he got there, and then he was like, "Oh wait, I'm home now. It's oh man, I guess I'm gonna have to go back to Micah." And so he walked over to Micah's. So yeah. That's my fanfic. Wait for it to come out. It's going to be awesome. It's just going to be the Haitian walking and what he sees.
Like that to me was like the biggest, to use a wrestling terminology, the biggest face turn for me on the crew was Carlos, because I did not like Carlos at all for most of the season. But as soon as they got the Sunstone and him and Farrah hooked up, and we had the sacrifice of Father Maurizio, rest in peace, Father.
Yeah.
It's okay, my son. It really fleshed out the character. And it's like, so if they do tell more stories, I'd be interested to see if Carlos is a part of it and what that kind of squad does, because I think him and Farrah and Jose, I think that's a really cool story of this family that's out there doing good.
Lilith's often compared it to going, Lilith.
Oh, it's Batman, Wonder Woman, and Robin. Yeah. They killed Father Mauricio, so they're gonna need a new Alfred.
No Alfred.
So they get Micah. Micah's the new Alfred because he's running the Batcave.
He's the new Oracle.
What was Morgan Freeman's part? Lucius Fox.
Yes.
Oh, he was Lucius Fox.
Well, let me tell you, Jose, I can fix this suit up for you, but it'll cost you.
The thing that I've always thought about Oscar Carlos' story is that it's always kind of been to the sides, and he's never kind of been a main part of the main story. He's always been off to the side with his like little tangents, and it kind of feels apropos that even in the finale, he's off to the side doing his little thing. He feels, I've said this to a couple of times, but he feels like kind of Daredevil in the fact that, he's just concentrated to that one little place and he's just doing street level kind of stuff. Whereas you've got the Avengers out there saving the world. He's just there like, oh, well, I'm going to protect my little part of LA and maybe Sunstone Manor. So imagine if they had gone to Sunstone Manor to be like their new Batcave. Oh man. But anyway.
That'd be great.
So is there anything else you wanted to talk about? I think I did read a tweet about two Tommies, two Nathans.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about this, because I think that while I don't know if it, and still after 3 viewings, I don't know if it makes sense, but the scene, I would say like the 5 minutes from when Tommy is released from Evernow by Ren to when he hops in the time machine and gives Erica the little Captain America salute, like those are great moments for this character, because again, Tommy was not a character that I was really into for most of the run. I think other than when we went back to June 13th and we had Badass Tommy that had grown up with Hero. And then they made him forget his memories and he became weak Tommy again. But outside of those few moments, I didn't really dig the character. But from seeing, what he went through inside the machine and, just that kind of journey. And we got a little flashback, a little best of show in the midst of the machine. But I really liked when he came back, because it was like, TV tropes as a thing, took a level in Badass. Tommy came back, or Nathan, he took a level in Badass because, he's like, well, not only am I going to stop time, but I'm going to, be in 2 places at one time. I'm going to go back to the past. I'm going to take these people and just the way he was using his powers and sending the people back and the kiss to Emily. Like that was a badass move, Tommy. Nathan, I give you your props on that. And then coming back and chopping off the bracelet or the watch on Erica, and just like those scenes, like that whole thing of him going to find Noah and pick Noah up and get Noah up to speed about what's going on. Like I enjoyed watching that character, because to me, and I know this might sound blasphemous to fans of the original Heroes show, I think Tommy or Nathan at this point already at the end of this finale is a better hero than Peter Petrelli. Because he had purpose, he had resolve, and he was much like his stepfather Hero. He was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm the man with the plan now. And whereas with Peter, although we all love Milo, Peter was so angsty. Peter was so back and forth. He at times he would be that bold hero, but then he'd also be like, I don't know what's going on with my brother. Ma's all on my case.
He did get like a fair mix between Hero and Peter in Tommy. Like at the beginning when he first meet him, he's really angsty. And then as he goes through his journey, he literally becomes like future Hero straight away. And
yes, when he got the sword, I was like, yes, Tom.
Even though it was really weirdly placed on him. Every time I saw it, it was like at a really weird angle. I was like, white boy can't pull it off.
He's such a skinny little beanpole, though. That's why.
Yeah, I really enjoy it's really weird how like when they started pushing the show, like Zachary Levi was a big name, so everyone kind of thought he would be like the second lead. And then when the trailers came out, it seemed all about Carlos, like giving those speeches and stuff like that. And then so you're always expecting those two to be the big ones, but then it kind of morphed into the twins, more so on Tommy's part. But what can you do? So yeah.
What can you do
apart from
be born a boy?
Yeah, exactly.
Get some more screen time.
Let's talk about the little epilogue that we got to a possible what they say that Heroes Reborn is over. So the next incarnation will be something Heroes related. So it will be, me and Lilith have tried to think of as many names as we can, and it will be
Heroes Reborn Redux, Heroes Reborn Reloaded, Heroes Born Reimagined.
So yeah, what did you think of the little tack on at the end?
Oh man, this is okay. So I'm of two minds about this, because before I had read the articles, with Crane talking about this world, the world of heroes, the universe of heroes, there are still more stories to tell. I was thinking, like a lot of people, I think that this was the end of Heroes as an entity. And so when we go from this great
monologue,
prologue, the monologue at the end with Henry, man, they're you and me on our best night, brother. I just really, really great stuff from Henry. And then also, you see the scenes of everybody, and you get the great El Vengador Batcave, and I liked everything about that except for no Micah, but that's neither here nor there. But then we cut to what's going on. It's your father. I literally looked at the TV screen. I was like, no, Tim Kring, I'm not doing this, man. I'm not waiting 5 years on this, man. But then after reading some of his comments, in terms of, Heroes Reborn is done, but the Heroes universe is going to move on. I'm like, okay, this makes sense then if you're setting up something down the road, because that is one of the questions that people had was, where are these kids' father? And so, although that's I particularly, I don't care about, showing back up.
We can't say that. We don't want to. We don't want to put spoilers in. So, do you want to say something again? We will. I'll have to cut that out. It's just gonna be. I'm just gonna bleep out.
But yeah, I'm wasn't particularly interested in the cliffhanger they left us with, but I think that a lot of people are, and so it's a good hook. It's also good to know that we still got Mama Petrelli out there, because I guess out of the Heroes Prime cast, is she the last one confirmed alive? Because we don't know about Hero.
Yes,
Here's what I did. I came up with, using one of the competitors of Heroes, I came up with a theory. Schrodinger's cat, or however you say it. So you've got a cat. It's in a box with a vial of poison. You never know when that poison's going to activate. So whilst the box is closed, you can think of the cat as both alive and dead. And that's how I see all the characters who we didn't see die. So you've got Hero trapped in the box of his house with the poison of Harris. We close that box, so he's both alive and dead. Parkman is exactly the same. He's trapped in the box of the car, and the poison is just the lake running towards him. We left, that box is closed, he's both alive and dead. And I'm going to go with Mohinder as well, which is the worst one.
House of M is dead. No Molly, no House of M.
Mohinder trapped in a box of the car park with the poison of a bomb. I know the bomb went off, but the door closed. So until we come back and that box is opened, we won't know. So we're bringing it all back because they're close.
Really, all we have is a bunch of dead cats, is what Ricky is saying.
If you think about it, I'm bringing it full circle, much like time, because we have a door closing on a superpowered battle. So yeah, let's go with that.
So we got a pet cemetery.
You did not convince me, sir.
Yeah, I think that it's good. It's a good thing in total, because I think that we've got the potential for more stories. We got the potential for more content in various forms. I guess the video game's been getting some pretty good reviews. So I think there's and when does the DVD or the Blu-ray come out? Okay, so depending on
the Blu-ray is $50. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't make any better, but
depending on the sales of that, I think there's there's
like 7.25%.
I think that there's potential. I think that we'll get some more stories, and if Nathan is the badass Nathan that we saw at the end of this episode, and he doesn't revert
they're
back
gonna have to
to
depower him. He's too powerful.
Well, that's the problem with that power. Period.
as long as they don't turn him into like an 8-year-old boy like they did to his stepdad.
I've thought of something about what they could do for season 2 if they can't get people back, and because obviously Danica is, because if you're going to have the second season be about the father and you can't get Danica back because obviously she's doing Jack Reacher, so depending on how well she does in that, she might have a movie career to think about. I don't know if they get Robbie Kay back, but I think a good season 2 to kind of do would be the 5 years in between and just getting to know the father, and that way you can still do you can still bring back old characters, because we're in the past, or in that 5-year difference. You can bring back Claire because you can have them have their thing from the ebook. And then you can basically see this guy, I guess, be coming from a hero to going to a villain. So like Lilith has said before, you do get that kind of Darth Vader kind of feeling from the father. So yeah.
It was all the way Star Wars at the end.
Your father's coming, and there's nobody that can stop him this time.
I just had a theory about who the father is, actually.
Like, she's good for that.
The father
is
Hondo. That's why we didn't see him. Claire is an unreliable narrator.
He does have that super charging power, so.
So, I think we've covered those 3 episodes really well. So, I will ask you, Brother Nate, what is your particular low point of the kind of season as a whole? Whether it be a storyline or a character or writing.
Well, from a storyline perspective, I would say the rape angle in Company Woman was a low point for me, just because it felt, not only was it rushed, but I think it felt unearned, in the sense that, you're trying to make me feel sympathy for this woman at the last minute by pulling out literally all the stops. And so I think that was a low point for me. The character of Joanne, my affinity for Judy Ciccone aside, I felt that a lot of her story arc was unnecessary. And then the other thing that they had no control over was the winter break. Because I think that had this, continued, maybe you take that 1 week off for The Wiz, because it's The Wiz and people want to see the David Alan Grier playing the Cowardly Lion. But other than that, man, I think we should have ended the year with this. I don't think we should have come back into January with more episodes on the table. I think either they should have started the show earlier, or they should have had a different break. To me, a better break would have been at the end of June 13th, Part 2. Or not June 13th, Part 2. I'm thinking of when Hero come back? Game Over.
Oh, Sunday Bloody Sunday. So we come back.
No, I'm going back to Game Over. Like when Hero shows up, bang.
Because they've already waited and they've already teased. Why not wait another couple of months? Yeah.
Yeah. If we have to take this break, if you want a hook, Mossy's back, and then bam, to be continued.
Yeah, wait for it.
I wait for him, because Mossy, as the ratings, social media chatter bore out, whenever Mossy came back, there was the chatter picked up.
Even when they were teased with Massey coming back, it was like, oh, he's back next week, and then at the end of the episode, where was he? Where was Hero? So yeah.
So I think that this is not as bad this wasn't as bad a derailer as the writer's strike back in season 2. But I do think that it didn't help the flow of the story. It threw the pacing off a little bit. So yeah, Joanne, the Erica rape scene, and the winter break. Those would be my 3 low points. There is one
thing I want to say about the winter break. As much as I kind of hated it, the audience still retained. It wasn't like a big drop off. Yeah. It was maybe a couple of thousand people, either 2 or 4, watching it. But they kind of, once it got to episode 4, it kind of hit its peak, or it started to plateau around that 3.5-4 million kind of viewers on the day anyway.
Yeah, and I would say this for Heroes, because I know Reborn got a bad rap in terms of the ratings when you start off with 6 million people and you're ending off around 3.5-4 million people, that's a drop off. But considering how most shows lose their audience from the premiere, and for a show that people know are ending, it wasn't a secret that the finale could have been the final episode of Heroes ever. So a lot of people would see that as a lame duck show. and jump off of the life raft. But for Heroes to hold that 3 million every week, like I think that shows that there's an audience for this universe, an audience for these stories. And like if I'm NBC or Netflix or somebody like that, it's like, yeah, Heroes is not going to be my main focus, but it can be the Carlos of my TV. It can be a good side story that brings people in, every so often, and people like coming back to this world.
And why not put it as a summer show? I think a summer show would be a good place for it, especially if it's only going to be 13 episodes and you want to play them all the way through, not have a ridiculous break. So yeah.
Or they should have started earlier, but they couldn't.
Let's talk about your highlights of the season. What is your personal favorite kind of storylines, people, right, like all that kind of stuff?
Whew, there was a lot to like in this miniseries, and I think that, to me, I think the fact that they knew they only had 13 episodes meant that we didn't get a whole lot of filler. Some of the Carlos stuff aside, like pretty much we were getting to the point for a lot of these episodes. And so, there are a lot of new characters that I really enjoyed. Like, to me, Harris is probably one of the best villains that Kring's ever created on his show. Like, just the kind of the juxtaposition of this dude. He'll cut your head off, but at the same time, he's rocking his suit, and he's so British and cultured. Like, he made for a very good number 2 henchman.
Would you listen to a Harris audio drama?
Basically, Ricky's been trying to get a Kickstarter fund going for this project.
Zachary Levi tried to put his stamp on evil Batman voice, but Clee Bennett is not like putting it on. That's his voice. It's so silky smooth.
Like one of my favorite scenes from the entire series. It's a throwaway, but I think it was in episode 2 when Miko chops off Harris's hand, and the clone like, "Can I have my watch back?" Like, just a really, really good moment for that character. Like so Harris was a great character. I liked Miko and Ren. I thought Casper was a really good character. But man, the highlight, I would say it's a toss up between Mossy, because whenever Mossy was on the screen, it was great, and him. The family moment. Like you talk about feels, to me, even more so than HRG's sacrifice was the sacrifice of Hero. Like that one got me because he's like, it was an honor to have you as a son, and he had this family. Hero finally got everything he always wanted, and who knows, that might have been it for him, or he's still in Ricky's cat box somewhere.
Do you want a moment to cough after talking about that?
Yes, and then they brought it back in the finale. I was like, oh, little gray streak, Silver Fox, Hero Nakamura. That to me was the highlight of the series. But in terms of other things that I really enjoyed, I thought that they introduced some really cool concepts to the Heroes universe. Like I think one that didn't get a lot of screen time, but I think if you're going to continue this world going forward, could have some lasting ramifications, is the whole epic system. Because I thought that was like a really cool kind of wrinkle to the show. It's like, oh yeah, we could see you. Like, I know you're there, Mr. Evo. I thought that was a cool little throw into the series. And then maybe my favorite part is that we finally had some happy endings. And I know you hate that term, Ricky.
Reunion. Happy reunions.
Like we finally had some happy moments in Heroes, because as much as I love the original series, there weren't a lot of happy moments. And happy moments were short-lived. But we got, in Heroes Reborn, we got Carlos and Farah and Jose with this family unit. We got Miko and Ren. And Ultimo, like, being the ultimate matchmaker. Like, this young man risked his life to save you. We're like, all right, Ultimo, I see you, player. Like, that was a great happy ending. Like, Tommy and Emily, that last scene where he's made all these paper swans.
Very reminiscent of Hero and Charlie, wasn't it?
Yes. Like, they were happy. And it's like, yeah, I know we got to get to this next chapter maybe, but it was nice for some closure and for a happy ending. Happy reunion, Ricky. That these characters at least got a moment to kind of breathe and just be normal, and I really thought that was a good way to conclude the series.
Let's go with the final question. Who is your kind of season MVP?
Whew, I mean, with all due respect to Jack Coleman and his performance of HRG, who really carried the first half of the season. Shout out to Mossy for his portrayal of Hero, who I think once Hero came back at the end of Game Over, that kind of kickstarted the second half of the series. So those were kind of our big tent poles for each half of the season. But I think you got to give it to Robbie K, because so much of the series depends on him. And so much of the series depends on Tommy's journey from this angsty kid who can't remember anything to being a badass hero who at the end of the day has no, like, let's not forget, Tommy did not have any qualms whatsoever about killing this woman at the end of the show. He's like, you know what? You're my granddaddy. Like, I had a moment like where I thought he was going to hit us with the line from Princess Bride. He's like, I'm Inigo Montoya. You killed my grandfather. Prepare to die. Like, I thought, like, Tommy was just badass in that scene, and the way that he was able to manipulate his powers, I thought it worked well. And shout out to the visual effects team, because I think that one of the things that we always complained about was we didn't get to see the big moments. And we got to see whether it was Malina walking through the debris falling down from the flares, or whether it was Tommy, transporting people back and forth and then leaving Erica stuck in the past or in the future with Caitlin.
I think it's funny how, like, everyone says, Heroes lacked that kind of special effects kind of stuff in the previous season, and then they gave them special effects in this, and all anyone kind of did was complain about how sci-fi it looked, and that's not a kick on the channel's sci-fi. It's just, it's never good enough for people.
Well, see, I really liked it because, I don't know about you guys, but to me, it felt like this was something that was going down. Like, this solar flare, this Healy was a legit threat. And I think that for most of Heroes, and I don't know whether it was due to budget or time or whatever, but we get the Nathan and Siler fight behind closed doors. And so it was like to actually see stuff going down this time around, I enjoyed it. And again, like, to me, the whole series kind of hinged on Tommy/Nathan, for better or for worse. And I think at the end of the day, while I didn't enjoy him for the majority of the series run, he showed up when it was time. And I think if they're going to continue things going forward, I'm actually interested to see, if they can get Robbie back and what him and his sister, hopefully they give her more to do, what these twins can do going forward with Mama Petrelli kind of being no disrespect to Christine, but being like the wise old owl, because she is just great for showing up and just hitting you with like a 2-sentence game plan of what's going to happen. It's your father. No one can stop him this time. Or again, one of my favorite Heroes lines ever when they were in Coyote Sands. You want answers? You got to start digging. Okay, Mama Petrelli.
Yes.
Like, she is great
and
for that.
She's just standing around like a boss. All she needed was a cigarette.
So yeah, I hope Heroes comes back, and I hope that they give her more to do, because if all these cats in boxes that Ricky has out there don't come to fruition, she's like the last one we got from the original show.
Unless Milo comes back.
Never. He's too busy with his Gilmore Girls reunion.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is doing Gilmore Girls.
He is absolutely happy to do it.
Because they were nice to him. They didn't just throw him under the bus at the end of the character arc.
Cool. Well, this has been a really good chat about this, because everyone's had like their bad issues, but
well, to that point, Rick, and I got a lot of friends online that they're like, yo, man, you still watch the show, or why do you like the show? And to me, it's like, Heroes is not a perfect show. I don't think there are very few perfect shows. To me, like Breaking Bad, The Wire, like there's a couple, but for the most part, every show has its flaws. The question is, are you willing to suspend your disbelief to enjoy the show? And for me, Heroes has always been popcorn TV. So, they try for these grand themes, and it's kind of like my co-host Marcus, we were on the Kings of Sport. We talked about Chris Rock's top 5 the other day. And it's like, yeah, Chris Rock had this great idea for this movie, and he went for it, but he didn't quite hit it. But that doesn't mean it's a bad movie. And it's the same with Heroes. I think Kring and company, like, they got these big plans and these big ideas. It doesn't always hit.
He admitted to it, though.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean it's a bad show. I think Heroes is enjoyable, and if it comes back, when it comes back, I'll be there to watch it, just like I was for this one and the original. I think that, that's why they make different shows, because some people like cucumbers better pickled, as Dave Chappelle once said.
Well, Nate, I don't know if Lilith's going to come back because of the lack of HRG, but we'll see what happens.
I don't know if I'll come back if Mike and the Haitian aren't back
Give
on.
me Christine Rose, and I'm here.
And the other
Give me
thing,
the
man,
founders. I'm here.
Next time Micah shows up, because the difference between like current Heroes Micah and little boy Heroes Micah is night and day. Like, the next time I'm expecting like Micah to show up and just be
Little beard, little
yes.
gray hairs.
Like, is that Michael or Terrence Howard? Like, who is playing this character?
Still better than the Molly situation.
Oh, another sacrifice. So many sacrifices.
Yeah, I think this is a great endpoint on Molly's sacrifice. So, yeah, Lilith, take us out.
We want to thank Brother Nate for joining us. It was a very enjoyable conversation. We hope you found it entertaining as well. So we are going to let him do some shameless self-promotions and plugs. I know he's got some.
I might have a couple. I might have a few. Sometimes I feel like your boy Nathan because I'm all over the place when it comes to these podcasts out here. But you can check me out on the Kings of Sport, which is a program with myself and Marcus Vanderberg of Yahoo Sports. Every week we talk about sports and pop culture. It's a fun ride. This week we're talking the NFL playoffs as well as the hubbub over hashtag Oscars So White. So if those topics interest you, you can check out the Kings of Sport on iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, facebook.com/Kings of Sport. I'm also on a show called Pipe Bomb Radio, which is a wrestling program. Myself and Felix Olmedo. You can check that out on iTunes and Stitcher. And the other show that I'm on is currently on hiatus. So who knows? Hopefully it won't take 5 years for this show to come back. But it's Keep It 100 from the Fight Network.
Seriously though, if you bring it back, when you bring it back, Keep It 100 Reborn. Come on.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea. I think I might have to steal that, Ricky. And we just need to see if we can get Sendell to do the intros for us. What is keeping it 100? Is it a force that unites us? But yeah, and if you want to talk to me individually, you can hit me up on Twitter at @8 MOZAIK at Nate Mosaic on Twitter. So yeah, that's where you can find me. I'm not around all the time, but again, time is a circle, so you'll probably catch me one of these nights on Twitter. So again, thank you to Rick and Lilith. It was a pleasure talking to both of you. I'm glad I got to talk to Lilith because Rick, you're cool, Ricky, but Lilith is she's the Tommy of this outfit. You're Malina.
No, he's HRG.
What?
Rest in peace, Ricky.
Primer Textiles Reborn with Nate and Lilith, I think, is coming up, huh?
Like, what happened to Ricky? Last I saw, he was riding around in the Cadillac.
Well, he's in a box now.
He's in a box.
Ricky, until next time, tell them what they can do.
Download the podcast, save the world.